should learn to be their number one security by asking some probing questions when certain things happen. Oh well. Hello, George. So we're not analyzing what happened to this woman. Tell me what's happening in your area. What have you seen? What have you heard? Welcome.
What I've observed is that every time you try to help somebody to avoid crime or break of law and order, you are a victim. I've also seen people who, an evener who carried some group of boys, and they told him to avoid police. The moment you avoid police, you become the victim. So whenever you're in a vehicle like that and you're trying to avoid legitimate checkpoints, just know something is wrong. Just pack all your things and avoid their problem. Why would somebody who is a driver avoid that if it's reasonable? Or why would a group of inside the vehicle try to tell the driver to avoid police if they are reasonable? So if you use our number 6 like the message you talked about.
All right. Thank you very much, George. Hello, Mr. Zion from GRA.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Good evening.
I think, number one, the Nigerian police in Rivers State should stop collecting money from complainants so that crimes can be reported and a crime diary should be published. The passerby or those living in that community to be aware of what is going on. Number two, the community youths through the CDC should be able to form security conscious people that are at least to be in areas in certain times to protect the people. Your community, not my community. Then number three, the River State government should establish painted taxis, River State color, numbered and registered, so that whatever taxi you are boarding in River State, it carries a registered number. In case of eventualities, you can go to the Ministry of Transport. They check the diary of the owner of that vehicle for investigation. And whoever that is entering any painted vehicle, you are at your own risk. Then above it all, before I leave the floor, we should also learn to protect ourselves. Not when it's happening to somebody, we fold our hands. So if it happens to me, I don't care, or rather we run away. But if it is happening to somebody, if we all can come together to rescue that person, I think we'll also apprehend those criminals and hand them over to the police for further prosecution.
All right.
Mr. Zion.
Thank you, Mr. Zion. Hello, Mr. Paul from Rumigbo.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In this matter now, I don't want to mention police because I'm with them every minute on the road. I imagine that the policeman will take me, and by the time I just come back in the space of 10 minutes, the policeman don't even know me, doesn't even know my car. So if you cannot recognize me, you will recognize my car. So your mind is just on what you want to collect from me, not even to know me personally as a person. I ask them this question so much. So that then being I do something wrong, if I come to you, tell you sorry, and you not even know that I'm the one who do that thing to you. So the commissioner of police I retrain these people. Some of them they're supposed to retire them. This thing happen around the loop here because I'm frequently there on that road, under that flyover there. Going to Roma coming back, the person is asking of my papers, my license, and the person have just checked me for 10 minutes ago. So it's very, very unfortunate. And then the veteran of this crime, there are so many. If you see some youth fighting, if you don't know any of them, will be going your way, look. Don't try to separate them or try to talk to them. In the process, you will be victim. And then the issue of one child is just rampant. All these private companies, whatever private motors, they are something else. And the KK boss, if we enter KK bus and you see two young men sitting at the back, then the center seat is empty, don't enter because they will just strangle you through back. So our advice general public should be careful. Don't be rushing to board any vehicle at all. Take your time before you board any vehicle. And if there is any strange discussion in the vehicle, just give them the transport fare and get down. Don't involve yourself in any discussion because that is where they will even get you. I'm a transporter, so I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I try to follow them so that I can lay complaint because I don't know whether they are armed. Because some of them, they move with arms. But when you give police information, just look at that vehicle, try and they will tell you, say, do you have fuel for me here? Our vehicle doesn't have fuel. Or you are you sure you know what instead of moving to or at least stop the vehicle and then try to ask questions. Instead of that, they will be particular on you. Let me check you first. So how are they going to meet up with the one you are complaining? I'm talking with my experience. This is my own part that I can contribute. So let the general public be security conscious. And then another one.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's a crime for you to have a flat tire on the road. Let me stop that you want to change your vehicle tire. Somebody will come from where in the name of local government status or whatever status to be harassing you. So I don't know what is the standard of if you have a flat tire on the road, whether you should take your tire you have before you can change it to the normal one. I don't understand. Somebody should help me with this.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Mr. Paul. Tuka Loanye on Facebook says, I used to think some sets of anti-cultism units of the police are usually stationed around that flyover. I mean, only Yahoo boys then they find. Oh, well, I don't know. Ferdinand Wodo says, good evening, presenter. This day in River State, she's even lucky that they did not kidnap her because it's the norm now. Constance, the problem is that the rate of unemployment is rising higher. Please, government should build industries so that people can be employed. Enough of this road thing. All right, Ferdinand Wodo, thank you for your message. Okay, I can't take any calls right now, okay, because we have commercials for 5:25. And then 5:30 will bring you the news headlines, after which we'll continue and we'll end at 5:45, way before 5:45 or right before 5:45 for a recorded program that we also have. All right, so I don't know, I can't find the WhatsApp. Somebody will say I've pressed spoil. I did not press spoil. I'm going to find it, okay? So, but hey, keep those messages coming, all right? I'm going to read them after the news headlines. Do stay tuned. Okay, welcome back now. So we've been talking about some of the operations of criminals in Rivers State, and we started off with the story of a lady, a market woman, or should I say a trader, whose goods were stolen by a taxi driver. The same taxi she boarded was the same taxi driver who stole her goods. All he had to do was ask her to please calm down from the vehicle. All right, there's task force ahead, and if they meet you, they will collect money from you. That's all he did, and she came down and he zoomed off. So how else can we be our brother's keeper if we do not let people know some of the things that are happening in town? We're not demarketing the state. We're just helping people to be aware of what's happening. And apart from letting people be aware, you're also proffering solution. Now, one of the things one of the callers mentioned as solution is ensuring that taxis, vehicles that are used as taxi in Rivers State should bear or should be painted the color of the state, blue and white. So that if you so choose to enter any vehicle that is not painted blue and white and does not have a number to actually show that this is a taxi operating in Rivers State, in Port Harcourt, where you are, then you are to blame. I mean, this conversation about taxis being painted blue and white, it's been on for years. I remember some time ago, the government even they had a task force on the road now. They were pursuing people driving their cars as taxi that were not painted. But all of that is gone now, all right? Because there's also the argument that some people are using their vehicles as taxi, maybe on their way back from work, and they'll just carry people, collect money at least, buy fuel on their way home. Times are hard. Oh, well. So, I don't know what's up with the WhatsApp. I just touched it and then it's saying something else. Okay, let me look elsewhere. Let me use something else. But I'm still taking your calls though. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. What are the operations of criminals? Could you tell us what their activities are like in your area? But also remember, I would like to hear from you how criminal activities can be tackled in the state. Another person said policemen should stop collecting money from people when they come to report a crime. They should not pay entry fee. Let them report and don't ask them to pay money. It's part of the things that will make people not report when issues arise. They would rather keep it to themselves, because how much I want to go spend for police station for money where I don't already lose safe. Mike is calling from Thai. Mike, turn off your radio. Good evening.
Yeah, there's one incident that I really want the public to be careful, especially those who are into crafts like that, and maybe you have a skill like you are an and other skills if you have. There is this person that they will call you on phone. They will call you, they will ask you, maybe if you are into entertainment, they will call you by your entertainment name and tell you that you were referred to them. That if you can do a particular job, maybe you are a comedian, if you can anchor an event for them, you accept that you do it. Then they will ask you what to charge. Then when you tell them what you charge, they will not be too far from the actual price you told them so that you can come. So once you accept that you're coming, for example, if they tell you the event is at Iguta, once you get to Iguta, they will not tell you that you did not hear properly that there is at a J. So once you get there, the one is finished constant. They will rob you, sometimes they will kill you. I was fortunate, though I ran away. So the public, they just need to be careful, especially if you are into crafts like Cameroon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Hello, Frank from Rumibo.
It's not a problem.
Hello?
Hello? Yes. I want to make. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Frank. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. You see this issue of people stealing other people's things on taxis and buses. Like my son had an experience while going to school in this free bus by the government. I gave him about, I think, 2,000 from Rumbo to school in UST. Unknown to the boy, he was standing inside that free bus with his money at the top of his pocket. Before we get to UST, somebody has picked that money. You know, when the bus is filled like that, a lot of people are entering. People have to be very, very careful. Because you don't know who is standing close to you and one, two, or the other. So our advice that, like what I told you, we have to be very careful. Hold your money in your hand when you are entering in such a crowded bus.
Right.
So that is my advice to people too.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Frank. All right. This message here from... what's your name? Aneke Victor. Aneke Victor says, good evening, Constance. Our police force is not helping matters in this regard. Somehow, if we had a good security network, that driver would have been apprehended. In my area, in Rumokuta flyover, there are about 3 guys who always pretend to be begging for money, but they use the opportunity to rob people as they start their begging with cult-related slangs. I wish our police officers could do the needful. You say these guys operate around Rumokuta flyover, 3 of them, you say. All right. Good evening to you, madam. Police officers should stop collecting money from people when they come to report crime. Everyone should be smart, sharp, and get some street sense. Times are hard. There's serious hardship in Nigeria, and some angry and hungry people can do anything to survive. The rate of crime and kidnapping, insecurity have increased nowadays. Therefore, everybody should be safety and security conscious and also observe what is happening around you and in your surroundings. All right. Good evening. Gigi says, my experience was in front of Federal Secretariat. A cab stopped. I entered and sat in front with another passenger. Apparently, it was filled with passengers that were thieves. The front was tight and uncomfortable, so the driver stopped for me to calm down. The door refused to open. The other passenger beside me tried to open the door, which refused to open. While all this was going on, they were struggling to get my bag. When I realized it, I raised an alarm and was dropped off, and they zoomed off. Just from Secretariat to Presidential. Everybody should be careful. All right. So that one is the typical one chance. Fidelis John Mugo on Facebook says, good evening, Constance. The only way criminality can go away in our society or state is only when we have a good electoral system, because all these guys are born out of winning elections by all means. These boys are used during elections, and after the elections, the politicians did not retrieve the guns they give to the boys. Then the boys use the guns to hurt the public. Alerus Spiff says, good evening, Constance. I will advise the Rivers State government to bring back the MPD system run by the Israelites for them to come back to reform our C4I security network. Former Governor Amechi used them and it's worked. Nothing stops Governor Sim Fubara from using them. I think at this point they have the solution to our security challenges here. All right, people. I'll read the remaining messages when we return after the news at 6. For now, we have a program at 5:45. It's supposed to be an interview. Prevail Media Concept. All right, gotta go. I'll see you. First of all, the news comes up at 6, and afterwards, we'll be right back here. Just stay tuned.
Nigeria Info.